Having looked in the last exercise at how we can add light maps to an object that has a second UV map channel applied inside a DCC application, let's take a look now at how we could also use Unreal's built-in automatic mapping tools in order to create light map UVs should we find ourselves suddenly working with a model that either hasn't had a second UV channel applied or that has UVs that simply can't be used for light mapping, with the easiest approach to this being accessed as we import our meshes into the engine. With an Explorer window open then, we can see that inside the course files and resources folder that we still have our FBX mesh ready and waiting. If we click and drag the appropriately named sm_chair_LP_bad light map onto our Unreal content browser, after a few seconds we should see our cursor update with a plus sign appearing next to the icon. Now once we see that, if we let go of the mouse button, Unreal will immediately start the import process for us, popping up the Import Options dialog. Inside the Mesh Rollout, we should see an expandable arrow that will give us access to some advanced options, which we can click if the rollout is not already expanded, to see all of the options available for the incoming mesh. One of which, as we have already seen, is the checkbox entitled Generate Light Map UVs that we saw in the last video. Now, although we could use this option at this point, it would probably be a good idea for us to know how to add light map UVs from inside the engine as well. And so let's make sure once again that this is unchecked for now, and then click the Import All option. Just be aware, because this model has had bad UVs applied, we may need to close out any message logs that appear. Let's then double click on our asset from inside the content browser so that we can again see the options for our mesh. Now we can dock this view as a tab if we want at this point, just for easy access. We want to come to the Details tab and locate the LOD0 rollout. At the top of the UI, let's click our UV button so that we get the drop down, which instantly shows us that our object does in fact still have 2 UV channels assigned to it. Channel 0, as always, contains UVs for materials and any associated texture maps that we may want to apply, whilst Channel 1 contains light map UVs, which, as we can see, unfortunately, aren't very useful at all. Let's leave this overlay on for now so that we can see the difference that adding our automatic UVs will make. Back in the Details tab, inside the LOD0 rollout, we can see that we have a Build Settings rollout that can be expanded if needed, where we again see that same Generate Light Mass UVs option as found in the Import dialog. Now let's click to enable that, and then click the Apply Changes button. Unreal will now go ahead and use the UV mapping found in the first or default channel in order to generate a set of light map UVs for the engine to use, which again reminds us that a well done job on UV mapping in our DCC application of choice can both save us time and help give us a better final result. Knowing how to apply automatic light map UVs to a mesh either on import or after we have imported the mesh actors into a level is a must-have piece of information. This means that should we either receive a model that has only had texture UVs applied, so a single UV channel, or that has had an unusable second set of UVs added, we can still generate usable light map UVs from inside Unreal itself, and so make sure that we have the ability to bake our indirect lighting to maps when the time comes.